Hello, my man.
Well, look at you. Where are you, man?
I am in a board meeting, just finished up there, Donncha, and everybody's left, so I'm in the boardroom.
You are in your ass. Well, you're in.
I'm in the Intercontinental.
See, oh, look at you. Swing it around there. Give us a look at it.
Hold on, there we go. Now,
There-
just
oh,
welcome
oh.
along. Say hello around the back.
Brilliant.
4 minutes. Everybody agree with the minutes from last week?
Brilliant.
Yes, I'm in the Intercontinental. I have a meeting earlier on and a party to go to this evening. So yes,
wow,
I'm
look
here.
at you.
They've kindly let me do the podcast in the boardroom where
Brilliant. Good on.
thankfully all the brainy people have left.
Nothing sure, Tommy. All's good, fella.
Great, thank you. Yeah. Welcome along to another episode of the Offload. How are you getting on?
I'm great. All's good now. Yeah, looking forward to this. I know there's a kind of bit of a lull after the European weeks, but it all kicks off now in URC, and there's good games to look forward to. But yeah, everything, life is good, Tommy.
Couple of great weekends to look forward to. Obviously, Munster and Leinster are still full on involved in that as well. We'll discuss that, and of course the Champions Cup final and a few other bits around the Lions as well. Speaking of boardrooms, I am in a board with the Lions Trust, and we were over in Geneva trying to raise some money for the Trust and for the My Name is Doddy Foundation, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about that in a second, but while I was going over there, I decided to call you and see what you were up to, and you were telling me, I'm just organising to meet up with Tomas O'Leary here. And I haven't heard from Tomas in a while. So it wasn't a coffee you were going
No,
for.
we
What
weren't.
were we up to?
We went for a trot. Myself and Tomas went for a trot. I shouldn't even probably saying it here, but he'd tell you. So we did intervals, man, that we hadn't done in ages. We did
What were you thinking?
I know, we did-
Right, so go on, tell
we
us.
did
Sorry, what were you doing?
200s, 100s, and 50s on times.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
And
God.
do you know what? We came into it typical, full of beans, having the crack. We did the first two, and we were like, we still got it. All of a sudden, the chat was gone, and the two of us were playing up with, oh, she's my back, my calf.
So who was in charge of the
I
stopwatch?
was in charge of the clock, to be fair. I actually brought this yoke. I use it for times. I know this sounds silly. I use it even for
Downtown climb.
for this, but it was so sunny that day it wasn't working. And you know, Tomas, he has no filter. He was there, that's so stupid, and no time for it all.
So because we would have done tempos in years gone by, and for the hundreds, I'm not too sure about the 200s, but you would have kind of done 20-20s.
Yeah.
So 20 seconds to run the 100 meters, 20 seconds break, or else you could have done 20-40s.
We were probably
What were you lads
probably
doing?
on the minute, to be completely honest. But the one that we chatted about, because we'll never forget it, Will Chambers and even Brian Carney, when they came over from league, the drill was like that, 100 hundredths on the minute.
Yeah, the AFL guys do that as well. 100s for their pre-season.
Oh my goodness.
100 meter. I mean, and to do it you're kind of trying to do it, well, for us as backs, you're trying to do it in 15, 16 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you have that rest period. But geez, if you and we used to do it in blocks of 5s or blocks of 10.
Oh,
But imagine doing 100 back to back. And the league boys did that. I didn't know the league boys did that.
I was at Sophie's hockey the other week. She's kind of like under 15s, but the fitness was 16 lengths of the hockey pitch. And you know what I mean?
Wow.
It is good to see. It's kind of good sport, isn't it? Like, I think that's a good watch. Watching someone do 100 hundredths to see how they go. And we're not talking about athletes. We're chatting about rugby players. It's good telly.
Dunners, you couldn't do 100 hundreds.
Oh, look.
I certainly
if
couldn't.
there isn't a challenge thrown down by Thibault. Yeah,
Well,
no.
listen, I ain't taking you on.
Actually, judging by last week, we can't do 4. Tomas and Philly in better, two of us in a heap around the place. Poor old groundsman, Mick in Con was there. Are you all right, lads? We're like, get you a drink of water or something.
Is Tomas O'Leary welcome in Con?
No, I actually shouldn't have mentioned it. Please. Stop.
Explain that to me. Is he not UCC?
Of course he's welcome in Con. Tomas is a Grand Slam winner, and Jamie O'Leary, his little boy, togs out with us in the under 10, so he is always welcome in the Cons.
Why would he feel uncomfortable in Con?
Have you been on to him? Are you setting me up here? What do you know, Bowe? He'd be
I know
uncomfortable in
nothing.
con because he's the head of rugby in UCC, isn't it? Like,
He is.
yeah. But no, there's a good bond between college and
Okay.
con.
Okay.
Do you know what
Right, no,
used
good.
to drive me nuts because college and con used to play on Stephen's Day every year, but con would always try to like that. You'd like those players to come out and come to con afterwards. So con used to like give the medical bag over with all the kind of insulation tape and the lino tape. And I look in, there's Mick O'Driscoll getting taped up with my tape. I'm there like, and they were like, no, we hope he comes out next year. I was there. He's the fucking last fella I want coming out here.
Mick, well, Donncha.
I don't find this tape that sticky at all.
I can do 100 hundreds any day.
We better give a bit of context into Mick O'Driscoll's name around our squad was the head of complaints. If there was something to be bitched or moaned about, Mick was your man to log it and flag it, really, wasn't it?
I've never seen a bandage around a man's ears with such a beetroot face in all my days.
He'd have classics though, you know. He'd in a Lineout review meeting, he'd go, "You can't defend that Lineout. It is actually impossible." And then someone like Alan Quinlan go, "What if we just move Marcus to there and I go in that spot?" I suppose you could do that, all right. Giant slice of humble pie. Get out of it, Mick, you chancer.
Particularly bad if it's Quinny unlocking the code.
No, I'm telling you, we could do with a bit more Quinny. Genuinely, when it came to Lineouts, boy, no one cared more. He tormented me, drove me crazy, drove me nuts, but...
Why?
He loved it, man. He loved it. He was so...
Did he know his detail? Was he good at Lineouts?
What, man? He was brilliant. He was brilliant. I never said it to his face, and I'm apologising. Well, no, I'm not apologising. I hated him. Genuinely, he used to drive me crazy on 5-man spacings compared to 4-man spacings. So, like, the gap between...
In terms of you two being on the same team or opposition?
No, in terms of us being on the same team. So, like, basically, so that there is... Honestly, his want for us to have a deadly lineup was through the roof. And even his ability to kind of come in with new ideas. Now, to be fair, he had a good fall in Paul O'Connell. Like, Paulie was able to kind of manage him. But Quinny he was a lineout nerd, man. It's great.
Wow. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah. I actually think it's what's missing at the moment. Like, Quinny would come in after watching Super Rugby, or he'd come in after seeing something, or... Like, I remember Harlequin's first team we saw moving that, they had, you won't even know this. You know nothing about the proper parts of rugby.
Like, you just jumped up into the air and caught it and dropped it and then knocked it forward and knocked on. And you got to scrum.
In a traditional lineout, you used to have the props kind of in the lineout. And then Harlequins.
In a traditional lineout.
No, just listen to me. And then on a full man, Harlequins started doing this thing where they started using the props like bookends. So the loose head would be at the front and the tight head would be at the back. They'd take even spaces and they'd do throw jumps. And I remember they did it against us in Thomond, and all of our minds were blown, man. We were there like, that is so clever, man. They just manipulated the space where the props were, throw it there. And that,
you see, and what I loved when there was a tight head at the back of the lineout.
Yeah.
Because that's the space I'm going to attack off that lineout.
There you go, and you're gone.
Because the disconnect between the tight head and the out half who generally doesn't want to tackle, that's where the gap is.
There you go. Like, you mentioned Dark Arts. Did you see the one for Pollock's try pull back on Coles? So basically, all he does is, it's one of those ones that you would be coached, say, you get in that passing channel and try to hold him in. Unfortunately, they scored straight off it and they were able to look back. But they're all the...
Was this in the final there?
In the final.
I was watching it in Centre Parcs and with Andrew Trimble.
Sorry, Tommy, do you know this is a rugby podcast, man? You have to watch a bit more rugby, like.
No, I was watching it, but have you been to Centre Parcs? No. Like, it's the sports bar, right? And they have 3 massive televisions. The Celtic match was on the big one.
Geez, that didn't
the
go.
Man United one, I think it was Man United. Somebody else was on the other screen. And the fucking Champions League final was on this tiny little television on the side. And I think the only people who were watching it were me and Trimby, who happened to be on the holidays the same weekend.
Only you. Trimble was out on a bike or a zip wire somewhere.
Of course he was. He came. He actually. You are not. It was bucketing rain, and Trimby had to leave because the second half. How long did the second half take?
Oh yeah, let's not go
if the TMO had to interact any more times in that bloody game, so Trimby had thought he'd planned ziplining with his 3 kids and wife Anna. For the end of the final whistle, but with 20 minutes to go, he had to get up and leave and go out ziplining and do the high wire course in the piss and rain.
Do you know what now, right?
Fair play to Trimby.
Do you know what? The TMO should reimburse Andrew Trimble for missing that. You know what I mean? Because
honestly,
isn't it so
it kind of made it painful. It really did.
It so did, Tommy. And look, we don't want to be ref bashing, but like TMOs, if you're coming in, man, be stern, be a help, and don't drag out the game.
And listen, I think it's Marius Jonker. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. Maybe South African TMO. And listen, he was probably right. Okay, so if he's going to come in, he has to be right. But it just upsets the whole flow. Like, it was 20-all, I think, at halftime. Really tight. I thought, okay, all of a sudden Bordeaux are going to pull away with this. Northampton dragged them back. Bordeaux are going to pull away. They were nip and tuck the whole time, but I just thought the second half dragged on a little bit.
And look, it's happened before. It's happened with the Lions as well. Those games going on for over 2 hours. They need to keep. Do you know what they need? They need one of these. So then something happens, right? And they genuinely go.
Timer.
They do, but I remember in rugby league in Australia, right?
I think they have one of those timers, Donncha, on the side, right for the score.
Honestly, I don't want to be over harsh on TMOs, but I'm genuinely convinced those flutes are watching Houses Under the Hammer. They're not watching the match, or else they're trying to make themselves look like the smartest guys in the room. Just honestly. Help out there.
It makes it difficult for the referee. The referee's trying to adjudicate what's going on the pitch. He's trying to make the game flow, trying to be even for both, and all of a sudden he gets in his ear, oh, we need to go back 20 metres into the halfway line. I'm like, Anyway, listen, good game.
It was a good game.
Centre Parcs was great, and to be fair, myself and Trimby, wrong 2 people to be sitting beside each other if you want us to watch a rugby match.
Of course, yeah, very
Disaster.
Good. Most talented fellas in the country watching it, and honestly, more interested in getting out on the bikes and playing cops and robbers.
Here, tell me this. What's this I see with you? You and Connor and Pete, big event coming up. Tell you whatever with the offload going live. You've sacked me off already. We're not even a full season into this show.
I'll do anything
and it's
to keep the wool from the electric gate. Nothing sure.
The 3 boys. I mean, we've been thinking, right, we should really try and get Connor and Pete on the podcast. It'd be great to chat to them and all. All of a sudden, I didn't even see you promoting it. Connor and Pete both put it up on their Instagram. You tried to hide that one. If it's not Connor promoting his laser hair removal and Pete promoting his microwavable meals.
Let's not slag off. We've all been there. We've been all there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Looking forward to
it. It's interviewing the lads.
Interviewing the lads before the first test in Cork and Limerick. Tickets are available on Pete and Connor's Instagram post. Go to those, you'll find them.
Hey, what do you mean before the first test? Is it 2 separate days? Or what?
One's in Cork, one's in Limerick. It's just a nice way to probably a home crowd to give them a bit of a send off. So,
and sure, a few quid as well for yourself.
You know too well, Tommy. You throw peanuts, this monkey will dance. You had me on that
good.
One. Good on you.
I did.
One back at you. What about your dad? Warren Gatlin's taking charge of Uruguay. He's been brought in as an advisor. That means you'll be tugging out. And the residency
fitness coach Bowe will be in.
Fitness coach.
100 lads straight up.
You're straight on social committee. That's good though. He's back in the game, isn't it?
It is good.
Too much knowledge.
Particularly for the tier 2 nations. And Uruguay as well obviously went so well in the last Rugby World Cup. Almost qualified out of their group.
Yeah. We should.
I think that's. I love that they try and bring in some coaches to go and help out the development teams as well. Badly needed.
And not
really
only
good.
that, the amount of knowledge he has, the amount of training
Oh.
drills that they wouldn't have even been through, and then you lift one and it'll lift everyone. You know, like they go up
Totally.
against Brazil and Chile. And once someone starts pushing on, then everyone kind of starts to come up. So yeah, that's good.
That's
good
great.
to hear.
Now I know all week you've been sending us through some random studies, random news stories.
Well, that's just personal fun, Tommy. I liked some of these stories.
Go on, hit us with one of your stories that really tickled you this week.
Well, there was that scientists have actually come up with the answer to the chicken or the egg. You know that question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well,
Right.
scientists from the University of Sheffield have the answer, and it was
Okay.
one. What do you think came first?
Egg.
No, it was the chicken. The chicken came first because there's a biochemical in the eggshell that is made from a certain protein called OC17, and this protein is only produced in the ovaries of a hen. So in other words, without the chicken, there's no biological way the egg could have been formed. The eggshell could have been formed.
But without the egg, how's the chicken?
We're not come back into it. Look, the scientist said chicken came first. Well done, the chicken.
You haven't come to this podcast for a scientific breakdown of what Sheffield University?
Sheffield University were all over it, boy. Good on you, Sheffield.
Sheffield University sounds like the sort of university anybody can get into.
Whoa.
I think I could have gone to Sheffield University.
Well, there was another one from a university college in London, and you're a napper, aren't you?
Oh, I love a nap. Yeah.
How long?
Yeah, love it. 20 minutes, even 40 minutes. Just it feels like it just puts a new set of batteries into me. Love it.
Every day?
Try to most days, yeah.
Well,
honestly, I really love it.
There you go. Well, Tommy, they found that adults who take regular short daytime naps tend to have larger brain volume.
Thank you, Sheffield University.
So this could delay brain aging by 2.5 to up to as much as 6.5 years. And this study was conducted on over 378,000 people who took naps. So
it's a big study.
It is a big old study. So good on you, Tommy.
Do you do naps? Did you not do naps when you were doing the morning breakfast?
I did when I was doing breakfast, and I used to love it.
And as players,
I used to love it playing rugby. You put on Murder, She Wrote, and off you go. Do. You're like,
are you an eye mask person?
No.
I put on the eye mask sometimes now during the day when it's really bright. Yeah, instead I have to pull the curtains and all that sort of stuff.
That makes sense. No,
Stick the old eye mask on till the dog comes up and licks you.
Yeah, okay.
What's that? Oh, Bonnie, get down. I have another random one for you because we do need to get into some rugby. What are we, like 17 minutes in? Nicola Coughlin. I didn't know this. So there's a gold Supermacs card.
Hold on. Nicola from Derry Girls and Bridgerton.
Nicola Coughlin from, yes, that's the girl. Yeah. So I think she did an interview on Ireland AM actually. And she said before the interviews, she went for a Supermacs. And they've given her a gold Supermacs. Now, I don't know how often she's going to get it.
Yeah.
But I was just remember the perks that we used to get as players. We don't get them anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, is that what you're fishing?
The perks?
Are you fishing here for a Supermacs card?
Well, yes, please.
Tommy going around. Tasty and tempting food.
Listen, I'll take it, absolutely.
No, that is for royalty in Ireland, like herself.
Well, Nicola is royalty, to be fair. Bridgerton Queen.
Oh, yeah.
But do you remember we used to get like Wagamamas, and but they didn't have Wagamamas in Belfast, so we never got to get it. But it was in Cork, I think, and Dublin.
They were incredible.
And you lads were like every week, every day, nearly.
Pretty much. It got to the point where certain lads were known by first name to all the staff. In fact, I don't mind hanging him because he's a good guy and he'll take it. Donncha Ryan and Dara Hurley were so regular in there in Wagamamas for the food that they were invited to the Christmas party. The staff loved them. I think on evenings the two lads would give a hand mopping up and stuff. They were so friendly with kind of helping the staff to get out early. They were so bang on.
I heard that they would go for a free lunch and a free dinner. Like they would go twice.
Doubling up on the cards. Whoa.
But we used to get like, because I remember when we go down to Dublin and like all of a sudden it'd be like time to go down to Waggis. This was great.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just Jason, the producer, saying here that Colin Farrell has an abracadabra gold
No
card.
way. Does he? Farlow in for a kebab. You love
3
it.
o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Did you ever hear of the Nando's gold card, or what did they have, a black card?
I'd one of those.
Did you?
Yeah.
So did I.
Did you?
So did I.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, into Mahon Point, to the Nando's in Mahon Point, and honestly, it was great.
How did you get one?
I'm kind of big news around Cork. Not so much I'm no Nicola or Farlow, but in Cork, I'm a bit of a big deal.
You're on a pretty big deal. Hey, I got one when I was at the Ospreys, but it was just when I was leaving the Ospreys, and I came back to Ulster. And so with this black card, I think it was Ed Sheeran who kind of kicked this off. You get you plus 4 people, like 4 meals plus yourself for free.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
There's an element
it was amazing.
Tearing the ass out of it as well, though, isn't there?
Well, this is what my thing is. So I got this card and I thought, right, great. I was sponsored by Subway at the time, so I couldn't actually tweet or put anything up online, so it was a bit of a waste of time.
What was your sandwich of choice again? It was the pepper turkey or
turkey and peppers and mushrooms. I think it was.
Wow.
So I went up. I remember taking 4 of the lads plus myself up for Nando's, and we went into Nando's in Belfast, and one of the lads goes and orders, and he has like his half chicken and peri price, whatever else. And then they say, okay, that's like €25. And you're like, the fella at the back's playing. So then the next person comes up, they ordered, the fella at the back's playing. And then at this stage, then it gets to me, and it's like over £100.
Oh, jeez.
And then I do my order, and then they say, okay, that's £120 there. And I just slide over the black card. And then they pick it up and they start looking at it. And they're like, what's this?
Oh, no way.
And I was like, it's a Nando's black card, means you don't have to pay. It's like, oh, I've heard about these. I haven't seen them before.
Amazing. You were like
so
Willy Wonka with a golden ticket.
Yeah, so it's like I need to go and find the manager. Like all of a sudden the queue is growing behind me. They have to go off and get the manager. And then
leave me
the manager comes up and she goes, how did you get one of these? Who are you?
Who are you?
I know. She goes, I heard like some people got these.
In 2009, hon.
No, definitely not. So then she makes this big song and dance out of it. But then she's like, okay, right. So I got my free meal for all the lads and we're all happy days. But you know what? Anytime I went back, and I only used it about 3 times. Every time I went back, she'd go, oh, here he is again with his black card. Like, and it was so embarrassing that I was just like, oh, it's not worth it.
Can you hear the lads giving that to Colin Farrell inside Abracadabra? Every time he comes in, oi, Farrell, you scant. pay for your kebab, Farrell, will you?
I wonder, did they have an Abracadabra in Inisherin, the Banshees over there filming?
Actually, Brendan Gleeson be a good man with a kebab, would need to be fair to him.
Oh, yeah, he would, all right, yeah.
It's amazing. But it's good on them, like... Honestly, I know it's a bit of promo, but I think sometimes people do that just to be kind. Like, honestly, not just saying it. Wagamamas fueled us there for a while. And it was with guys that couldn't, they just probably didn't have the capacity to cook healthy every night. That way. So take them one night out of it. And to be fair, our nutritionist, I remember she went in and there was stuff we could fill our boots on. And then the other things that we were nearly self-policing on. That, you know what I mean? If someone ordered, everyone was like, hey, don't go there now.
Stick to the ramen. Yeah. Behave yourself.
Exactly.
No spring rolls.
There you go. Well done.
No, the good times. Good. I don't know if the players get that sort of stuff anymore, but right, let's move on. A quick news story I'm seeing at the minute. The Lions, there's talk that the Lions in Australia have decided to have a playoff if there's one each. What are you looking at?
Hold on a second, Tommy. Hold on. Can I bring in a special guest?
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, Donncha has just got up and left. Lovely purple sofa he has behind us for anybody.
Look who just called in. Sit in, Bob. Sit in.
Hello, Tommy. How are you?
Oh, Mary, how are you?
You can only hear him on
Mrs.
this.
O'Callaghan is here.
Hello, Tommy.
Mrs. O'Callaghan, Mary, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you, Tommy?
The star of the
I
show.
don't know. But I'm told your podcast is the best in the country.
Oh, stop it.
No,
Stop
no.
it.
It's going to be going through the roof. You look fantastic. What
Thank
happened to
you.
your son?
But-
Tell him no.
I'm-
Because every morning I get, Tommy was saying on Ireland AM this morning that the best thing you could do is...
My biggest fan.
well,
Oh,
Tommy,
it's great to see
I
you.
must tell you, I was with a doctor during the week, and he said to tell you that your podcast was the best he'd ever seen. So there you go now.
Oh, from the
There you
medical world, huh?
From doctors are
Yeah,
even
there
saying
you
that.
are now.
Wow, I thought it was just really unintelligent people were really
No, you
listening
just
to us.
well, particularly the one with the sticker on the apples. He got a great kick out of.
Oh,
So,
we all got a great kick out of that one.
Tommy, we'll get proper rugby insight here.
oh my,
Hold on, Mum. Munster versus the Sharks. Who wins it?
Munster, of course.
There you go. There you go.
Do you think so? Really? All the way down
Tommy,
in
do
Durban?
you know the amount of prayers that travel with Munster? There are novenas. Novenas. People used to say
Okay,
to me, what do you be whispering at the matches? I pray through every match. Every match. So there's divine inspiration with Munster.
Absolutely. Well, I need to ask you then, Lions, because that's my great memory of you, the Lions down in
my
South
God.
Africa as well. Tell us, how do you see Lions against Australia?
They could do it, yeah.
Well,
you see,
you're not. You're on the
I'm-
fence. There's no novenas on this one.
Well, if he were playing, there'd be novenas.
Hey.
Up our side.
There you go.
If he were in, we'd be praying. But you know, our boys won't let us down either.
Mary, you absolute legend. This is
Not
lovely
really,
to see
Not
you.
really. But
Come on.
Has he got you over for babysitting duty as always?
No, I just called in on spec and had dinner. Free dinner.
Go on.
You're
They're all
very
calling
good.
for out here, Tommy. You've enough. Come on.
See you later.
You see my boy, look. This is my boy.
Who's there?
Here
Oh,
you are.
Jakey boy, how are you?
Say hello.
Jake, say hi.
Hi.
Come over here so we can see you
Jake,
go in between.
come on
Nana.
over and say hello to the people in the podcast. Welcome along to the real star of the show again. 2 stars of the show. Jake O'Callaghan, how are you? What jersey is that you're wearing?
Jersey. Ronaldo.
Portugal.
Ronaldo, yeah.
Ronaldo, of course. Do you know if your dad was much of a good footballer? Does he play with you at all?
Sometimes.
Has he got
Right,
2
enough
left
of you,
feet?
Tommy.
Regards to
You
all
could
the
maybe
family,
teach him a
Tommy.
thing.
Go on.
You too.
Bye.
Good on,
Thanks,
Bob.
guys. See you later.
Plumas.
Hold on now. There's leads everywhere.
Bye, Tommy. God bless.
You don't know what you're going to get on the offload. Well, listen, I might start including people into the conference room here soon, should I? For a chat. I mean, hey, come on in.
Do you know what? This is a nuts thing to say, but do you know what? You just even knew it. Like, I know this sounds nuts. Do you remember when, like, Paul O'Connell used to walk into a room? You'd notice like an energy change. That just happened around our house there. I knew my mom had come in. You know that way. Like everyone, yeah.
Right.
There's just a buzz around the place. No, she does come with pockets full of sweets and treats and
she's
stuff
a
like
star.
that. Yeah, good on her.
Lovely to see her. That's class. Haven't seen her since we did the live podcast.
Yes,
there you have
there
it.
you go.
Right, go on. Back to rugby. Lions, Australia.
20 minutes.
If it's
Oh, sorry.
no, if it's a draw. So remember the tour against Australia, and they were 1 apiece, and then it was a draw, or whatever, in that final match.
New Zealand,
sorry.
17, yeah, 15 all, wasn't it? And they shared it.
And it kind of felt a bit like an anticlimax.
You're some bollocks. You know that? You are. You,
Be careful now, she's still listening.
you really are. Because you were one of the ones happy to play for a draw in South Africa, remember? You were there like, I don't know why Raj kicked it away that time. We could have got the draw. We would have been fine if you chased it, you.
I did chase it. O'Gara, if you put it up down the line instead of kicking it right down the middle.
That's where it should have gone. You had no interest in going after it.
Nobody does an up and under right down the middle of the park. If we watch that clip back, and Ron O'Gara's a coach now, he'll know only too well. up and under, down the 15-meter tram. I was chasing it.
You know what? We'll
but
get Raj on and we'll debate this.
We'll get him on and we'll discuss
honestly,
this.
I'm going to send
He's still cranky about
a
it.
voice note. Listen, we want you to come on the pod. We know you've other ties, but we just want to tie up one crucial point. Who was wrong here?
He would be on the heartbeat to that because he wants to put this bed. I'm putting it to bed also. We have a lot to discuss.
You've actually changed your tune. Now you'd be happy with a draw. Or sorry,
well,
no, you don't want them.
I'll tell you why. I was at the All-Ireland hurling final last year, and I know everyone in the country wanted to be at that match, and we're thinking, why is some gobshite from Monaghan getting to go and see Cork against Clare?
I didn't have too much of a problem with you, but tell who you were with.
Alan Wynne-Jones.
You know what I mean?
The Welsh cat. I mean,
what does he know about hurling? Like, genuinely.
Well, yeah, but it's about introducing new people to the game, and he was blown away by it. Honestly, like, how could you not be?
Yeah, but what a waste of a ticket. Not being harsh. They were like hen's teeth in Cork and Clare. There's Alan Wynne.
He got loose by the end as well. Oh my God.
It's some emotion, isn't it? It really is.
It was some emotion. It really got to his head. He was a big Clare supporter that day.
Was he?
The drink was flying.
Of course.
Actually, no, he's a Cork sort of. He had the Cork jersey on. But he ended up licking Bernard Brogan in the face, I think. Al, it's time to go.
Brilliant. We'll get Brogan on to explain that.
But I was sitting there watching it with Joe Canning, which was cool, and getting his insight. It was amazing.
Incredible name dropper this evening. Go on anyway. Yourself, Joe Canning, the Brogans.
For me and the guy lads were very close. So anyway, Joe Canning was sitting there, and all of a sudden it was a draw, final whistle. He got up and left, thinking that was the game. It was over. He was thinking it was a replay. And like literally, he was having to go do RTE that afternoon or that evening. And then obviously on the way down to where he was getting picked up, someone said, it's kicking off again. I didn't realise that it actually goes to extra time. And there was loads of people kind of complaining, saying it should have been a replay. The players are knackered. But I think it was brilliant to get closure. They went and they played the extra time. Clare went on to win. It was epic. And what a way to finish a final. And I think a Lions series only comes out every 4 years. To finish on a draw, I think would be a shame.
Yeah, I think, I agree. I totally agree. I'd always go for the win more so than anything, yeah.
Okay, so good call.
Yeah, and the 20-minute red card is in. That's in throughout rugby from now on in, isn't it? And it'll probably help.
In all games, is it?
Yeah, probably will help with, if you looked at the Bath game and the Underhill tackle the other day.
Oh, I know. That was an odd one, wasn't it?
It was straight red.
He should have got a red, shouldn't he?
Yeah. Like, I know the what was it? Is the word mitigation was that he stepped in, but you know, anyone on that age, you have to step in. Otherwise, honestly, people have no idea how much trouble you get in, especially you, Tommy, if you get bundled into touch. We're even teaching it at under 10s. You call it the cliff, like, don't go over the cliff, you know?
Don't go over the cliff. Yeah. No,
sorry, that's probably not.
It makes me think. It makes me think of another story you sent on about the story about the Giants Causeway, and it's all about the Giants, and then the professor in charge of that was Dr. Cliff.
But there's a name for that, of people that work with similar things to their name. Darren knows about it. I'll ask him what it's called. There's a name for it, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, we are all over the place tonight. Apologies.
We are. But
okay, right.
People know what we're on about. Actually, in that story about the Giants Causeways, they're asking people to stop putting change in between the
cracks.
Yeah, the cracks. Stop sticking money down the cracks of the causeway.
It's eroding the rocks that have been there for 60 million years, and Dr. Cliff wasn't happy about it. Stay away from the cliff.
Genuinely, this is the most educational podcast you'll ever come across, isn't it?
Here, you must have been delighted for Johan Gran, the success, and seeing Bath win.
Well, to be fair, they were good for it, weren't they? They were worthy winners on the night, and yeah, look, I'll be honest with you, I don't like the idea of trapdooring in. Like, they lost to Benetton, they lost to so many teams, and there they are in lifting Europe. But to be fair, he's got them pulling in the right direction, and they're on for a treble now. Actually, the Premiership is really live this weekend. The big game, probably Bristol versus Harlequins. That top four shaping up nicely, that you could have kind of Bath, Leicester, Bristol and Sale heading into the kind of semi-final
Well,
stuff.
Bath are 14 points ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. They're flying
But
it in the league, and huh?
Do you know what, Tommy? I said it, like, remember I was up on my high horse saying, good on Northampton, you know what I mean? They're not buying it, they're producing from within, but I think Saturday showed you have to have a squad. Unfortunately for them, you know what I mean, 2 injuries early in the game, but not only that, they had to go toe-to-toe with Saracens the week before. If you haven't got massive squads now, like Bath and like Bordeaux, you know what I mean, you're in trouble.
But I have to say, they were so, like, as you say, those guys talked about continuity of selection, continuity of performance. I mean, up until like just after half time, they were so in that game. Of course, they got that yellow card, and that kind of gave Bordeaux that just little bit of space. And then one try in the second half, that was the difference. I mean, to lose to that star-studded Bordeaux team, I mean, you go through that team, it's just insane. I thought Northampton you should be really proud of themselves. Great performance by them, and they kind of backed up why they beat Leinster, to be honest.
Agreed. But they, like, at the top end, you just can't go. The guy you've signed, August, is that how you say it?
Augustus, yeah.
What a player, man. And I know Pollock went in 8, and I know people are being tough on him. I thought he played really well. Like, and the 2 moments he almost had were game defining in terms of, I know he's ahead of the kicker, and I know it got called back for the line-out interference for his try.
Oh yeah, that was that was class too. That was a try.
But if you watch him back, his work rate is incredible. You know what I mean? The amount of work he gets through. Personally, I don't feel he's a number 8. I actually don't know what he is. Like, I always believe Tyg Byrne should wear a jersey 5.5. You know what I mean? And like, I was thinking about this when Danny Kerr got to wear 9 off the bench. I was thinking, should we leave certain numbers with jerseys? Like, I think Leicester should be allowed bring back the ABC club. But I have one for Pollock. I think, you know, that mat sign, greater than and less than, you know, the kind of triangle thing. He should be greater than the 6 on the back of his jersey, because he's not an 8, but he's a brilliant 6 that can do more than their status. He can do little bits, but I think when you play him at 8, you need someone like what you've just signed around him.
Yeah.
So
greater than 8, okay.
Greater than 6. Yeah. Greater than 6. Greater than 6. That's what he should go around.
Get him in the backs. He should be greater than 8.
He'd do it all, to be fair. I know there was a bit of trouble after the game, and there was a bit of stuff like that, and they're all celebrating, doing his celebration. But we know it, Tommy.
Good luck, yeah. He's arrogant, he's English, he's young, and he doesn't give a shit, and I love it.
Yeah, brilliant. Exactly. Here.
Brilliant. But he's going to be so good on the Lions tour. I hope he's fit and raring to go for that.
Do you know what happens as well, though? You spin a narrative in your head around your squad. You know what I mean? I remember Kerry Sweeney one time, in an affectionate way, tried to refer to our pack as Dad's Army. And I remember we put it everywhere, and we took it as the biggest insult. And if you actually read what he said, he was quite complimentary, but he did mention Dad's Army, and that's all we took. And you could see that's what happened with Bordeaux as well. They've spun it in that, you know what I mean? That, like, I do remember Mike Phillips. I remember one time Mike Phillips, Paul O'Connell, he put a photo of him on our under the wiper of our cars. So when we finished training, we all saw these yokes, and it was just Mike Phillips, and all it said is, "I'm thinking about you. Are you thinking about me?" And it was like the narrative all week is, don't let Phillips go. Keep a hold of Phillips. Watch him. You know what I mean? And
where did he put it?
He printed out these pieces of paper and put them under our wipers. But like
on the windscreen?
On your windscreen. Like, you know, the way you'd find a flyer. Yeah. But like, I'm not just saying that. I put it up on my jacks for that week. And I like all week, a bit like
sitting there just looking at him.
A bit like Rocky, you know, in Rocky where they have the thing and
on the mirror.
But you do stuff like that, and then when it came to the game, man, I remember I was showing such nonsense at Mike, you know what I mean? And he's there looking at me going, "Where's this all coming from?" But you don't know.
He's like, "I haven't been thinking about you all week. Who gave you this idea?"
I don't even know you, Donal.
Who Who is this donut fella keeps shouting at me with his gum shield in?
But you have to do it. You have to do it. And look, they.
No, you guys did it.
Yeah.
Us backs, we just don't do any of that sort of stuff.
I think Bordeaux did it, and they built him up to be what we would have called a head on a stake. We would have done that, heads on stakes, and who are they
Going
this
after
week?
him.
And he's the one you go after.
I always remember, was it Chabal you did that?
Yeah.
Remember Sale against Munster, and anytime Chabal touched the ball, man, you were all over him.
There was one.
You're going to need...
Hold on. There's one off the kickoff that we ran him, right?
Yeah.
There's two things in it. One, he was backpedaling, right? We had him up and we were moving him. And I remember it would have been so easy for him to go to ground. But he was so proud, man, that he thought he could... He thought he could
get away.
He thought he could fix it. And it was nuts. The further we ran, the more he kind of kicked in to try to solve it. I remember coming away from it actually nearly in admiration for his self-belief of, you know what I mean? Like, there was about 6 of us. But if you watch that back, right, and if there's a siphon commissioner now, and I know we give TMOs a hard time, watch the sneakiest boot of all time by Peter Stringer about 2 seconds after he hits the deck. It is vicious. That little fecker, like, genuinely, this one of them. I did. I always look back at it and kind of going, like, whatever about running him 20 meters, the little boot at the end by Stringer.
Do you remember in Father Ted, Dougal hits the fella the kick and runs away?
Well, this is a bit more vicious. This is a bit more vicious, but certainly worth a look.
True. Well, listen, Munster are going to need to be doing that this weekend. It is the URC quarterfinals. Friday, Glasgow against Stormers. Saturday, Bulls against Edinburgh. Then Leinster against Scarlets. Leinster at home for that one. And then, of course, Sharks against Munster. Munster away from home in Durban. Like a star-studded Sharks team. Like, it's going to be a hell of a challenge. Your mum thinks at Munster there's going to be prayers sent on the flight going over there. Are you feeling confident?
Yeah.
Feeling there's a chance?
Well, do you know what you say? It's mad you actually chat about Mary there and that, but there's kind of an emotional tie-in around Munster this week that probably people outside of won't get or understand, just with the sad passing of Sheila Foley, Brendan's wife, you know, Orla and Rosie's mom, Axel's mom, who would have been, like, Brendan Foley in Munster is a spiritual leader, you know, so and there will be that element of trying to reflect where we're from and the people that have been around us. And then, you know, going up against the Sharks, one of Munster's greatest sons, Sean Payne, who, you know, both of us know, unfortunately, really sad news. His beautiful wife, Michelle, passed away, and our thoughts are with them. What an incredible couple, their family, just such a beautiful, beautiful family that just gave so much to Munster. So going over against the Sharks as well, and maybe catching up, I'd say, with the likes of Sean, I think that team they're gonna bring some emotion. And you're right, like, they're star-studded, but will they be able to
match the emotion?
Yeah, I do think there's an emotional wave coming with this Munster team that maybe people don't see outside, you know, and I think there's good drivers to be able to make that happen, the likes of Pete and Connor.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge challenge. I think it's in front of 52,000 people over there. They have the likes of Etzebeth, Khaleesi, Mapimpi, Bongi, Umbanambi. They've Lucanio. Like, they just have like, it's pretty much the Springboks. Like, I think it's something like 12 World Cup winners in that squad. But there is something about Munster, particularly when there's something on the line, and emotion like that. As you say, a spiritual leader. Anthony's mum, Sean was part of the Munster team. Was that in 06 to win the European Cup as well as fullback that day too? Unbelievable. So
I'd have saying
part of the fabric.
Oh yeah, I'd have saying about Sean Payne. Genuinely, if I was in a burning building and I had to leave my kids out the window to have someone under them, it's Sean Payne. Like, I know it sounds nuts, but we know it. The value of a fullback, never leaving the ball hit the ground, but. Even, honestly, just Michelle, like, I was kind of really young in around that squad, 21, 22. I'd get up to awful sorts of just nonsense, immature stuff. And I remember there was a few nights where half the squad wanted to kick the shit out of me, and the other half wanted to see me get the shit kicked out of. You know that way. But I remember one night it all kicked off, and I remember she just grabbed me and put me inside in the chair, in beside her in this kind of pub, and just said, "Sit there." And I remember a few lads were trying to get a hold of me, and her line was, "Leave him alone. He's just an idiot." And like I honestly, I loved her so much for it, that she knew I was just at a different point in life of just being so immature and stupid. And Tommy, we know that's what it takes, man. You know what I mean? You go out with brothers on the pitch, but it's everyone's involved, man. Everyone's involved. You know what I mean? That's
Partners, wives, the whole
of
lot.
course,
Yeah,
and
big time.
everyone helps shape you and divines into it. So yeah, we're hurting for Shawnee. What a great guy. What a
I'm rooting with Sean in Ireland camp at one stage as well. I think really lovely fella. And listen, as you say, condolences go out to both families.
yeah, very true, very true.
It's going to be an unbelievable match, that one. Leinster against Scarlets. I actually read Gordon Darcy's article this week. Which normally
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? You make it sound like he did it with colouring pencils.
I actually generally enjoyed Darcy's article, so I shouldn't
absolutely.
laugh. But it was really interesting. He was saying, like, it won't be up to Leo Cullen or Jacques Nienaber how Leinster finish off the season, because there's nothing they can do. It's actually about the players now, and actually in how much they want it, because the Europe was everything for them. They're trying to convince themselves, or maybe they have convinced themselves, that the URC to win something will be exactly what they need. But it was just interesting to hear him talking about it and how difficult it is to bounce your way back from those losses and to try and build yourself up. And they should win the URC by a canter. They should be playing against the Scarlets this weekend and destroy them. But again, you just don't know the damage that loss against Northampton is having for them emotionally. And sometimes it's hard to get yourself up for it. They'll be hoping for a big crowd in the Aviva. But even from a Leinster supporter's point of view, have they got the love for it?
Yeah.
After what happened,
it's hard to know. Personally, I know what Darcy's at there, and it's all with love. You know what I mean? Leo was his leader and showed the way. But the honest truth is, we know it. It can't always come from the players. Like, the biggest problem they've had is consistency of selection leading to the performance, and that isn't on the players. And the players, of course, will go away and be tough on each other and have to drive it. But there needs to be accountability on the management as well, to say that it just simply hasn't been good enough up to this while. So, but I think there's going to, you know what I mean? I just look at Tig Furlong being out now and having calf issues, Robbie Henshaw being out, and personally, Tommy, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze for them in terms of the URC. You know what I mean? They're trying to put it up on this, you know what I mean? The blue media is trying to put it up on this equal comparison as Europe, and it's simply not. They have the best squad in, and they're the best funded team probably in the world, and they just underperform, and they get away scot-free with it all the time. And I know the Leinster supporters that listen here will jump in and kind of go, "Oh, real tough on Leinster." But I actually think we're fair on Leinster. And what actually happens is Leinster supporters get blinded by how everyone blows smoke up your ass. You know what I mean? And I don't actually think that's helping. I think we're honest and we're fair. And you know what I mean? We try to, you know what I mean, be evaluated and as much as we can. But
they need a trophy, Donncha. They won the URC, I think it was back in 2021. Like, for the squad and everything that they have, I think they'll be up for it, I have to say. But you did mention Tig Furlong there, and I was reading in the paper as well this week. Like, he's played 8 matches this season, started 5. I think he's played for 34 minutes for Ireland this season, and trying to get him back fit to go on a Lions tour, you know. And I know Cian Tracy was kind of asking, like, is the Lions really what that fella needs right now? Is that what, like, Leinster and Ireland are thinking? If he goes on a Lions tour, I mean, the impact it's going to have on him for the rest of next season as well. I mean, obviously he's going to want to be in the Lions. What an opportunity again. He's been on tours already, I think. And what a servant, what an amazing player in addition he will be to the Lions if he's fit. But I kind of know what it's like to be going through injury after injury and how debilitating and how frustrating it is. And I know he's had a tough year with his own dad as well.
Yeah, of course, but it's the lines, Tommy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You absolutely.
Yeah, of
That,
course.
and if you've to come back on your shield from that, good on you. Well done. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it will. Yeah, like even Tig aside, there'll be guys going that tour won't come back like they went out. You know what I mean? It is.
No,
It's a tour.
it does take its toll.
It's a tour that brings you absolutely to the edge, and it will finish some players, but that's all right. What a good way to go.
I want to finish as well. It's going to be a great round of matches actually this weekend. So looking forward to the URC as well. I want to finish off I was in Geneva for that My Name is Doddy Foundation Lions Trusting, and I was there with Gregor Townsend. And Shawsy was there, the man who took your position.
Simon
there you
Shaw,
go.
what a legend, man. I love him. Do you know myself and Simon Shaw had the weirdest argument of all time. We had a fight about who should call the lineouts. You know the way normally second rows want to call lineouts. Two of us had this, like, honestly, it went on for about 15 minutes about why we shouldn't call the lineouts. Shawsy, I love you. You're a beaut.
He went on 3 tours and missed one in the middle.
Amazing.
How insane is that?
But do you remember his performance in the second test?
In that second test,
it was incredible. Actually, we're getting Shawsy on 100%. We'll get him on to tell that story about it.
And we'll get him on at the same time as Rog and get Rog to answer why he kicked it up in the middle of the park instead of kicking it from me down the side.
Out of it. Why you didn't chase that kick?
I did chase it. Watch it back.
You and Gatland on your way to Uruguay.
Rog, we'll catch up. Anyway, what I wanted to say though, we had to do a bit of a speech around and talk about the Lions, and hearing Gregor Townsend talking about that 97 Lions and the atmosphere and that second test and what happened with Gus Scott doing the drop goal, it just lit the fire for me for the Lions. It just, as you say with Tyke Furlong, whatever's gone under the bridge so far, it doesn't matter. The Lions is the Lions. He will do whatever he's got to do to be fit and ready for it, because it is just so special. And having events like that where you go and catch up with Shawsey and Gethin Jenkins and players you haven't seen in maybe 4 years, but to reminisce those memories is exactly what it's all about.
And you've nailed it. You know what I mean? That tour gave us the line that sums it all up. It's Everest, isn't it? If you're a rugby player, it is absolute Everest. And I agree with you. We need this tour to provide, like myself, Robin and Jake are going up to that match, and I so remember that kind of, you know what I mean, 97, and even before that, like that tour before it, I remember my brother would get the video recordings and we'd watch them, but you didn't get any scene behind it. But it gave that 97 tour, it changed my life, man. You know what I mean? It genuinely did, and I'm hoping for that for them as well with rugby, that it lights that fire.
Absolutely, 100%. Can't wait. Right, that's it for another week. Best of luck to Leinster and to Munster this weekend. Cracker couple of matches coming your way. Donncha, it's great to catch up as always. Please subscribe. It really does help put us right up the podcast charts or whatever else, and it seems to be working. So thank you. Tell all your mates about it, because we'd love to have more and more people listen to us. So we're delighted with how it's going, but coming up into the business end of the season, please tell everybody, even though today was a bit of a shit show.
Hey, hold on. You got some good nuggets today when you found out the University of Sheffield and the chicken and the egg. If you dispute that, put that in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. Tommy, I'm going. My mom's outside, fella.
Good man, Donncha. See you later. Say hello to Mary.
Bye.